So I have this Jimmy-proof deadbolt lock here that is a bit old, but I don't want to replace it with a new one. And it was seizing up a little bit. The action on it was tight. I needed to take it apart and grease it a little bit. And the thing was, is I wasn't really paying attention as I took it apart to how to put it back together again. And it took me a bit. After some trial and error and research on the internet, I finally figured it out. So I thought I'd make a quick video here just to show how this thing comes apart and goes back together again in case I need to do it again or anyone else needs to do it in the future. So this is, here it is, basic deadbolt action like this. This has already been greased, so it's not quite as tight as it was. To take this apart, it's just, now again, this is older. Newer locks will be a bit different, but there's two screws here and here. And you just take out the screws. All right, and then lift out this backing plate, and here's what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to hold my thumb just and work the lock so you can see how this works. You've got an arm that comes through like this and raises this plate so that this top part here raises up and it slides to the left and closes and then goes back again the same way. And then, sometimes it takes a little bit of an extra turn, but then this clicks back into place like that. And then on the back of this plate, it has an arm here that does the same if you turn the key from the other side of the lock. So that's how it works. And then what screwed me up was that underneath this little pivot arm here is a spring right here that applies pressure to here and keeps this pushing down. All right. What happened to me was this spring went sprung and came loose, like whoop, just like that. Went flying over there. Okay, that's exactly what happened before. It went flying halfway across my workshop. So now the spring is off. If you do need to grease the mechanism, it's right here. This part here comes lifting out like that. And the part that gets greased is the part where I've applied silicone grease. It's the track on the inside and this piece like this, so that it slides back and forth like this. Come on, get back in there. Come on. Doesn't want to go. Okay, here it goes. So now that slides back and forth smoothly. Get some nice action on that. All right, that's fine. So when you put this back together again, the first thing to do is get the spring in the right place. And in this case, there's you can see a spring there, and it rests on that post and tensions underneath that pull. And the key is that for this smaller arm, sorry, get my thumb out of the way, this smaller arm here needs to tension that little piece of metal right there. So this also goes on the same post. And we need to kind of tension this like that. And then, trying to look around the camera monitor here. All right. Get this guy out of the way. There we go. Like that. Okay, so that when you push the arm up, the spring pushes it back into place. Okay, so now this is working correctly. And then this top plate holds all of that in place when we're done. Okay, so what's important here is that when you put this back together again, that this piece is roughly where it needs to be in the lock. So make a note of that. Try to put that in place like this. Okay, and now it can go back together again. So I'll just take a second to put these screws back in. All right, all back together again. Let's test it out. Okay, that's open and close from the knob side. And then it's a good idea to test it from the key side. You don't have to necessarily put the whole lock back together again. You can just take any flat instrument like this, either an old key or, in this case, a screwdriver, and this will work. The mechanism from the key side is if you put a key in the lock. So that's working again too. Okay, that's it. Hope this is helpful.